EastEnders is set for explosive scenes next week on Albert Square. Spoilers for next week: see Linda Carter blackmailed next week in shocking scenes. Meanwhile, Reiss Colwell will find himself in trouble next week when he makes an enemy of Phil Mitchell. Elsewhere on the BBC One soap, Eve Unwin proposes to Suki Panesar after a newcomer leaves her feeling threatened in her relationship. Here's the biggest storylines ahead on EastEnders next week. Linda Carter's exit sealed as Shush's blackmailed in Keanu twist. Linda Carter will be blackmailed next week in shocking scenes on EastEnders. Soap watchers will recall that the Six have framed Dean Wicks for the murder of Keanu Taylor, and he is currently in prison awaiting trial. Linda is actually responsible for Keanu's death, but the character, as well as Denise Fox, Kathy Beale, Sharon Watts, Stacey Slater and Suki Panesar, have all stuck together as the Six to protect Linda and instead frame evil rapist Dean for the crime. In upcoming scenes, Linda is rocked when a contact of Dean's, Fraser, accosts her in the Vic and offers her a deal. It's not long until Linda's protective mother, Elaine, intervenes and orders him to leave. However, later, once alone with son Johnny, it's clear she is tempted to take the deal, but he desperately tries to talk her out of the idea before she turns to the bottle again. The next day, Linda wakes hungover at the Vic and raises concerns with Elaine when she forgets Annie's dentist appointment. Later in the week, Linda makes a shocking discovery whilst bottling up at the Vic, and things get worse the next day when she receives a blackmail letter as she tries to determine who might have sent it. Later, Linda receives a second letter and loses control, causing a scene as she accuses individuals in the Vic. Johnny consoles her upstairs whilst, unbeknownst to them, the culprit sending the letters is visiting Dean. What is his plan? Reiss Colwell's death confirmed as truth exposed to Phil Mitchell. Reiss Colwell will find himself in trouble next week on EastEnders, when he makes an enemy of Phil Mitchell. The initially unsuspecting resident killed his wife Debbie in shocking scenes last week, with the police getting involved in her passing. Next week, Reiss continues to panic about the post-mortem results, and if they'll reveal she died from being suffocated. Whilst Sonia tries to reassure him that the post-mortem is routine, he panics. Elsewhere, Eve sees Reiss with Debbie's wedding ring in the cafe, and the pressure to get money only amps up when Phil demands a return on his fake investment. He gives Reiss 24 hours to get the money, but how is he going to raise that much cash in such a short time? He lies to Sonia, but what's his next move? Spoilers for next week: see Eve Unwin propose to Suki Panesar after the latter's ex Nish Panesar meddles in their relationship. In upcoming scenes, Nish surprises Suki by showing up with an old acquaintance, Aisha, the widow of Hardeep who Nish killed 20 years ago. Suki is stunned to see Aisha after all this time, and it's not long until the newcomer riles at Nish for his crime before fleeing.